growing up, I always did help them out, like with the cashier. I was like 9 years old and I was a cashier.
Yeah, you're
I remember sleeping at the store all the time. And, my parents hustled. They didn't have anything growing up. So this business was like their livelihood. And they hustled like any other immigrant parent has for their kids. But they also did like that, bring their kids to work with them every day.
yeah.
I was always there just like taking
Free,
naps and
free
working the
labor.
cashier. Yeah.
Yeah.
This was like in the south side of Chicago or the west side of Chicago, pretty dangerous parts. And
Uh,
I just remember my mom, like she always starts yelling right away and gets into arguments all the time. And then all the customers is like, you know what? Like I'd yell back at you, but there's a kid right there and he'd just be pointing
uh,
at me. I just remember those like so clearly. But I know growing up, they put in really long hours. They would work from like 9 a.m. to 7, 8 p.m. And we would always have very late dinners. They weren't around much. And I mean, that was for good reason. They were trying to put food on the table. They were trying to support me and my sister financially. Yeah, I feel like a lot of the traits that I have definitely came from them being frugal and working.
all right. Hey, everyone. Welcome to Founders Unfiltered. I'm Alan. I can't hear you, Eddie. Oh, no. And this is how our podcast begins. Oh, still can't hear you. So funny.
Hello.
Oh, there you go. There you
I think
go.
I accidentally muted myself.
Yeah.
But yes, I'm Eddie.
All right.
Yeah, we can restart. I'll just take that part out, or we can
No.
take that
Let's
part
keep
out.
it. I like it. Minimum
Okay.
edits. It's
All right.
it's part of our struggles.
You're right. You're
Yeah.
right.
All
Okay.
right. And this week's episode will be about our first generation parents. And before we get into it, Eddie, how was your week?
My week, man, I think I've been feeling a little burnt out lately. I felt this before.
Yeah.
Just a lot going on. I feel like I have a lot on my plate. I've been feeling super unmotivated lately. And sometimes like I'm just like it's hard to get out of bed. I don't know. I've been trying my best to like motivate myself and listen to podcasts and obviously try things to help me with this. But I think it's just one of those things where sometimes when you hit a wall, you just kind of have to work through it and I don't know, deal with it in a way. I think for me, like it's hard to get things done when I'm not motivated. And I think that's for a lot of people, right? And this week was really about just like, I don't know, reflecting a lot with what I'm doing and just trying to figure out why this is happening. And I think a lot of it is because of my client right now. And I think I'm just not enjoying the work with this new client. And it's just taking a lot out of other things in my life that I want to do, like content creation, the real estate as well. So yeah, I think this week it wasn't the best week or best 2 weeks for me, but I'm just trying to figure it out. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Dang. It's a brand new client, like someone you haven't worked with before?
yeah. It's a new client on through Grant Thornton, and they're a global client, and it's just been kind of rough. They're super unorganized and just not what I'm used to. And it's
Yeah.
a lot more work than they led on to. They originally presented it as like a part-time opportunity, but it's so much more work than that. And I'm just like stressed about it. And I
Yeah.
don't like it. I know like work is work, but this is just one of those things where, I went independent for a reason. I like to choose the work that I do or choose the projects that I'm on. And it just
Mhm.
sucks being kind of misled from the beginning and then just being put in this like a really shit situation
Yeah.
overall. So I think that has been a big cause of everything that's been going on for the last 2 weeks for me, just like my motivation, being
Yeah.
stressed and not being able to do the things that I love. I mean, I've been still trying to stay consistent with my training and my workouts, but it's hard getting through those things when you're not as motivated for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Are you at least able to still like bill for all the extra time that you're putting
But
into it?
yeah, for sure. Yeah, I get to bill it, but like for me, that doesn't matter. Like
Yeah.
if it's at the cost of my mental health, like
Right.
it's not worth it for me. And
Yeah.
I know I shouldn't be talking too much about it or go into too many details about it because it's still like going on and like there's some things going on. So, but yeah, I'll just leave it at that. It's
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
not
yeah,
going that great.
for sure.
Yeah.
I feel like part of our consulting work, there's always a price of having customers in our minds. That's something one of my teammates said. It's like, what is the price of taking up space in our heads? And I was like, it's such a good point. It's priceless. It's like you can't
Yeah,
measure that. And
that's
that
so
all that's
funny.
got to be baked into the rate that we choose, and like the
Hmm.
hours that we bill and all of that. Like,
Yeah,
so
should
because
I
I am
be
literally thinking about work like right before I go to sleep. Like, do I log hours for that too? Like,
that's what I'm thinking. I just when you
yeah.
said that I was like, should I be billing them when I'm thinking about them before I go to sleep?
Seriously, like even the like minutes here and there, like yeah. So, um, and then the other thing too, and I'll go into my week is like our consulting work for both of us. Like even though we both have so many other things we wanna like try and tackle and start, like the the main income generator is our consulting work, and that can't stop. Like it's like
Mhm.
it's we always say like it keeps the lights on for us.
Yep, for sure.
So it's like we have to figure out like we can't not do that work. So how do we still make it a good part of our everyday, while still leaving room for other things we want to try, I guess.
Hmm. Yeah.
Um, my week, I'll go into so after our recording, I'm gonna go to LA Fitness to try swimming for the first time in a while. There's only one LA Fitness near us that has a pool, and they are supposed to open up their pool November 1st, which is yesterday. But I'll call them, see if they're open. I have things always get delayed, so I have a feeling it's not gonna be open. But the point is, I'm like week 3 into my marathon training. I think I realized stretching is like so crucial. Like am not getting I'm not like hurting, or I'm not like having pain, because I'm like doing a pretty good job stretching before and after. So I ran like 9 miles last Saturday and I felt great afterwards. Like no pain,
Hey.
no nothing. I ran
Hmm.
5 miles yesterday. It was like my cool down week. Next week I run 11. And I'm not even worried about it. So it's like cool. That's awesome.
Hmm.
So that's definitely in like full motion, marathon training for next March. And then I had a really good conversation with another, service business owner. I mentioned him to you before, but he's another Asian guy our age, and he's like definitely many steps ahead of me in building his kind of marketing, service business. And he kind of told me like, all the metrics that he kind of goes after. And I've also been reading some consulting blogs lately too, some articles, and like the idea of like how much revenue to income ratio, like is each person bringing in like 3 times what they're making or 4 times what they're making. Like a good range is like 2.5 to 5x of what they're making, and then your profit margins. So really starting to put some numbers into my business, and it's really becoming pretty clear what our goal needs to be. And at the same time, the longer I'm in business, I'm realizing I keep going towards that like corporate numbers game that I once wanted to get away from. But honestly, there's a reason like that metrics exist, and that's just how you measure, and that's how you get a good sense of your business and control of your business. So I think I'm still trying to maintain the best culture that I can while implementing all these new changes. But I think my team is all still open to it, and they all agree with like where this is headed. So I think I'm happy about that.
Nice. Yeah, I'm curious because you said you're also talking to that guy that's in the services industry. What
Mhm.
metrics are you guys kind of focused on right now?
I mean,
Like,
he
what are the
he
big
told me
ones?
that like his consultant's goal is to bring in 4x their amount.
Okay.
So it's like 25% of every contract is kind of allocated to like paying that consultant. And then
Hmm.
he said another 25% on overhead. So like design and copy and external like contractors they need to bring in, whatever. And
Okay.
he just kind of shared some numbers. Like he said he was at like 400K per month revenue, which is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
But then his gross profit, so like his bottom line was 150K. So it's like he's saying that as the business grows, it's just you just don't get to keep a lot of what you make. Like
Yeah.
right now, I'm probably at over 50%. Like we're actually at 92K per month right now, which is pretty
Hmm.
awesome to say. We're so close to hitting 100. And our business gross profit is like 48K, so slightly over that 50%. But him telling me like, yeah, as you grow, we have like middle level managers that isn't actually owning everything, but just making sure things are running smoothly. We have other overhead costs. They do like annual team retreats, and they go all out for that. So those things
Mm.
add up, and they're 150 over 400 is like that's like a what is that? That's a yeah. That's a hold on 450 over 400. We'll probably 37.5%. Yeah, return just kind of made me feel it kind of affirmed like all the issues I was having. I was like, how do I pay more people without cutting into the business profits? And I think
Yeah.
I just realized you literally can't. Like you have to spend more of the business profits to
Got to
keep
keep
things running
reinvesting.
smoothly. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Reinvesting. That's
Hmm.
exactly the idea.
Gotcha. Nice.
Yeah, more to learn about that.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Cool. Cool.
All right. So, our interesting topic for today, our first generation parents. Um I suggested this last week, right?
Yeah. I thought it was an interesting topic for sure too to talk about.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm trying to remember why I suggested this topic. I think everybody, probably a lot of Asian American, like immigrants or second generations, we all have something interesting to share about our parents, whether that's good or bad or, you know, whatever.
Yeah. Tell
Uh,
me a little bit about your parents. I don't know what they do exactly. I don't think we've
yeah,
ever really talked about
yeah,
them.
yeah. Oh, our family moved to America in 2009 when I was 9 years old. 2004 when I was 9 years old. My dad actually came for a year before we all moved, so I think um, he was trying to kind of figure out a situation. He lived in LA actually for the first year
Hmm.
and then I think he was the company, the employer that brought him over. He was kind of helping start like the marketing department of this Korean company that sells like honeybees or not bees, but like bee products, like royal jellies and all the
Hmm.
like kind of nasty stuff that our parents made us eat for like healthy nutrition things. So my dad was kind of doing that. I mean, I think we have a lot of like gratitude for my dad's old employer because that company is the one that gave us a chance to move out here, got him a salary. I think they helped us actually like find our they helped us buy a first home actually. My dad's old boss actually paid for the down payment for our home.
Really?
Yeah. So like it was like a loan. It was like I'll
Yeah.
help cover your down payment, help you get a house. Um and my dad told me like we were all supposed to pay it back in the future, but my dad was also supposed to get some equity in the company for all the growth and all the help he brought in. But I think that equity conversation got a little like hazy, and he never ended up getting the equity that the old boss promised.
Yeah.
But when my dad left, it was kind of like, hey, I paid for your down payment, but I know I never gave you your equity. Let's just call it like even. Are we good with that? So like it kind of worked out. So I do
Okay.
think we got the down payment like covered by the boss. So
Gotcha.
like
But
stuff
what
like
if,
that.
yeah, what if the equity was more than the down payment? Maybe
I'm
that's how the
sure
boss
it could
was.
have been, yeah, but I
Yeah.
think there was also just complications at the time for our family who wanted to buy a house. Like that was like more than what we could have asked for. I think.
Yeah, for sure. No, that
Yeah,
was really nice of him to do too. Just the timing of
yeah,
it. Yeah.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
crazy.
I think hearing stories like that, I was like, dang, my parents went through like quite the journey too.
Hmm.
And
For
then yeah,
sure.
that company's the one that sponsored our green cards. Now we have our U.S. citizenship. My dad has been doing that from like 2004. I can't remember exactly when he quit, but shortly before COVID, he was working there for quite a while, like at least a decade plus.
Hmm.
And then his time at that company just came to a natural end. And he's been trying to start a few different things since then. So he like tried starting like a startup with someone he knows, and that didn't go well, and he wrapped it up. He does have his like insurance broker license. I think he wanted to be like an insurance agent for like the Korean community. I think there's a lot of those people who help Koreans get like car insurance, life insurance, and health insurance, and you get like a commission off of that. But as of the most recent thing is my dad is actually the president of the Korean Association of Chicago. So he got
Yes,
elected to
congrats.
be,
Yeah.
yeah, thank you. He got elected for that. And that's like become his life now. And it's like he doesn't even get, he actually has to pay money to be part of that. He doesn't even get paid. So it's a negative thing. But I think he's met a lot of people. He's gotten like a huge sense of stability and meaning. And he's like playing a lot of golf and he's like running half marathons with them, which is good for him. They drink a lot of beer and soju together, which I don't love, but
Hmm.
like he has
That's
a
Korean,
really
man.
strong, yeah, social life.
That's good.
So that's my dad. Let me actually move on to my mom too, and then I want to hear about your parents. My mom has been a nurse all her life. She was a nurse in Korea. And
Hmm.
then when we moved here and she needed to find the job, I remember she like locked herself in our small bathroom and we bought one of those little like tiny like kids like play desks that are like red, blue, and yellow made out of plastic. It was for like my little brother, but she sat on that desk and studied for the nursing license exam for 8 hours a day. She just like she
Wow.
went off. I still like think about that all the time. I'm like, man, if I ever have trouble like working hard and like staying disciplined, like think about that.
Hmm.
She did that for like weeks, and like you got to realize she's like a 20 something year old woman who doesn't speak any English, who just came from Korea. And these nursing exams have all these medical terms and like, hard to understand sentences. So I think she was just like going off with the dictionary. And she had those electronic dictionaries where you like type in the word and it was like a tiny little like
I
electronic
remember those.
portable things.
I
Yeah.
remember those.
Those
Yeah.
used to be amazing. And some of them
Yeah.
would have games on it. Like,
Yeah. They're like
um,
Game Boys.
but my mom, yeah, like studied for the nursing exam, passed the NCLEX, like no problem. And then she became a nurse, even in America too. She wasn't working as a nurse right away. She just got her license. And she also worked at my dad's company for a while, on like the customer like call center. But she was kind of like the health expert of the team since she has a nursing experience. So she was actually able to explain like what this does and like try to tie it back to the benefits and whatever. So she did that for a while and then eventually she got a job as a home health nurse. So she doesn't work at a hospital, but she goes to like old elderly patients who are like at home, like getting like nurses. It's like home delivery nurse. Like the nurse will come to you, and like these patients maybe like are old and needs like their wounds like replaced because they have a big cut and they don't know how to replace it by themselves, or they
Hmm.
like have trouble walking, and like she goes home and makes sure their home's environment is safe for them to like use their wheelchairs or even like the home built in like stair escalators that they have and whatever. And honestly, dude, like my mom is hustling so hard. She actually makes so much money, which I'm so like impressed and like happy to see. She'll like
Hmm.
sometimes brag about like how much she made. And like she has a pretty strong, but it's not like she's like, oh, like I'm a tech bro making a bunch of equity. Like she has a pretty set hourly rate. It's like 120
Yeah.
an hour or whatever. She works like crazy hours to get to that. Like she's like
Wow.
working literally like she'll drive like 50 miles out because that's where all the patients are, and she'll see like 8 patients for the day, get like a
Hmm.
hundred something bucks per patient for the day, makes like 1K, drives back and like does paperwork for all of them. So she's working literally all day, all night. um, so very proud of my mom for that. I think she's definitely the sole breadwinner of the house for the last few years since my dad's been involved with this Korean thing for a while.
Hmm.
And yeah, she honestly makes more than a lot of my friends, like a lot of my tech friends, a lot of my engineering friends. At least like the top revenue that it's on her tax return, it's like it could have been like more than mine and yours, like in the last when we first started our business too. So I'm just like,
Wow.
good for you, mom. Yeah.
Wow. That's impressive.
So
Mrs.
yeah,
Ho. Wow.
I know.
Jeez.
Yeah.
I
So
didn't, dude. It's crazy. I didn't know that about your mom. Yeah, I feel like I've
yeah,
never heard anything about your mom before, so I didn't know she was a baller like that. That's pretty cool.
she was definitely a big tiger mom growing up, and
Hmm.
we had a lot of fights and issues, but I think a lot of her intensity also carries over to her work too. So
Yeah,
yeah.
gotcha.
All right, your parents. Tell us about your parents.
Yeah, no, this is interesting timing because yesterday it was my mom's birthday, November first.
Happy birthday.
Yep,
Yeah.
and then my dad's birthday is on October 26th, so we usually celebrate their birthdays together. So it was nice to
Mhm.
just take them out to a nice, like, expensive restaurant
Oh,
yesterday.
that's why you were out at getting
Yeah, yeah.
sushi. Yeah.
Minami Sushi,
Yeah.
Jeep. It was so good. Oh my god, it's like one of the best places in Illinois, and it's like
Yeah.
the food you get in Korea. It's very
Yeah.
similar, like
Yeah.
the
Yeah. Yeah.
quality, and it was just nice taking them out and just having a good time, good conversation. But yeah, a little bit about my parents. I don't know the exact dates. I know that they came to America around when they were 20 or so. My
Okay.
dad was like dirt poor, like in Korea. Like like he didn't have much growing up, and he didn't really need much growing up. I don't know from what I've heard. And when he came to the States, he started to help with my Como, which is my aunt, his sister, with a clothing store, and that's kind of how he got into fashion and retail, and that's still what he does now. And I think when my mom and my dad got married, or when they met in the States when they were like 20, 25, they started doing that together. So my mom and my dad have been working in retail for more than, man, 20 plus years now.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy. And they're still currently doing that right now, and I've helped them out a lot with their business. Pretty recently, they got, I don't know, like, you remember that whole thing when the George Floyd protests and everything.
Yeah.
They
For
got
sure.
looted, and the store was just completely destroyed. We started a GoFundMe to help them kind of rejuvenate and come back, and that's when I started to get involved. But I
Hmm.
mean, I growing up, I always did help them out, like with the cashier. I was like 9 years old, and I was a cashier.
Yeah. You're.
It's crazy because I remember sleeping at the store all the time, and my parents hustled. Like, they didn't have anything growing up, so this business was like their livelihood, and they hustled like any other immigrant parents has for their kids. But they also did like that, bring their kids to work with them every day. So I
Yeah.
was always there, just like taking
Free,
naps and
free
working the
labor.
cashier. Yeah,
Yeah.
and this was like in the south side of Chicago or the west side of Chicago, pretty dangerous parts, and I just remember my mom, like, she always starts yelling right away and gets into arguments all the time. And then all the customers is like, you know what? Like, I'd yell back at you, but there's a kid right there, and he'd just be pointing
uh,
at me. I don't know. I
yeah.
just remember those like so clearly. But I know, growing up, man, they put in really long hours.
Yeah.
They would work from like 9 a.m. to 7, 8 p.m. And we would always have very late dinners. They weren't around much. And I mean, that was for good reason. They were trying to put food on the table. They were trying to support me and my sister financially. And yeah, I feel like a lot of like the traits that I have definitely came from them being frugal and working hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. And now I feel like with my dad, he also kind of ventured out into something else other than clothing retail. He has a car wash in Atlanta, and we all
Hmm.
kind of like invested in that as well. And it was doing really well in the beginning, like super well, because he got it during COVID, and
Yeah.
I think that was when rates were super low.
Right.
And
Right. Right.
yeah, I don't want to go into too much detail about it, but it's been kind of struggling now, and they're just trying to work through it. And I think all businesses, all in the South Side, are kind of struggling right now.
Oh, I see.
And I was worried because I look at cities fashions books and everything, and I this to him like the other day because I was like stressed out about my shit, and then I'm looking at city fashion. City fashion isn't doing that well right now because business is
Uh,
super slow. Um, but I chatted my dad, and I was like, dude, like, what are you gonna do? Like, you owe so much money everywhere. Like, he's borrowing money from everyone. And
oh.
then also, I have a loan out in my name for him for like the business and everything. So things are not
Hmm.
like good, like as they used to be, especially during COVID when the stimulus checks were out and business was booming.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
And my dad, my dad responds, "I do my best. We will see. Nobody knows future." And
Dude, wait,
then
say that one more time. Read his
she
response
said,
one more time.
he said, "I do my best. We will see. Nobody knows future." And then he sends this really long voice message about how, like, dude, he grew up with nothing. He came to
Yeah,
America with nothing. This is nothing to him. You know,
yeah,
I I do think it's a little bit different now, just because he's gotten to the point where he's gotten all these assets, like his house, a home for my
yeah,
grandparents. You know, and now he has so much more to lose because obviously
mhm,
if you go bankrupt, we lose all that stuff. Whereas before, like he had nothing to lose. But I
yeah,
think that mindset is still in his head where he's like, he can survive anything, you know,
yeah.
like and then he also said, "Shit, I do my best all the time. Start last year August, I changed my Kakor profile, and it's the his Kakor his profile picture is like that picture of when we got looted when the store was destroyed.
Oh,
Yeah."
okay.
He said, "Do it like work when I was come to USA 40 years ago. Don't forget, I'm the man." And it's so funny, like man, he it's like not going well. You know, like
Uh-huh.
City Fashions is not profitable right now. um, the car wash isn't doing that well right now, and it's
Uh-huh.
like the the grit that my dad has is something I'm very jealous of. I feel like
Yeah,
for me, like when things aren't going well, like I'm not that calm. Like I
yeah,
freak out and I try to, you know, I don't know, but it is kind of like a reminder that like I don't have it bad,
mhm,
and no matter how bad it gets, man, all you can do is try your best. We don't know what the
yeah.
future is going to hold. So I guess that's just a little background about my parents and how they are. Yeah.
Dude, it's your dad has balls of steel. That's what it
He does,
is.
man. He really does. That's one thing I respect about him, man. He's a
Yeah,
go getter for sure.
yeah. What was I gonna say? Your dad's like text or your his voice note should be like the intro of our episode. Right? Have you've seen those trends on TikTok where it's like sometimes I see what my parents text me and I just move on, and it's like screenshots of their parents text and it's something ridiculous that they say.
I don't, yeah, no, I don't see that. Your For You
Oh,
page must be a
that's been
little
like a
different than
trend
mine.
lately.
Okay.
I feel like your dad's text that you just shared like could be that. What is it?
Gotcha.
Sometimes you just gotta read your dad's text and just go on about your day, and then the next slide is like the screenshot of your dad's text. That's the trend. But yeah, dude, it's yeah. I always knew like your dad was kind of like the impressive like business owner like of the community. And I feel like and like Christine's parents also own like a car wash business too. I feel like one thing I've learned from your family or Christine's family
Wait,
or
they
just
own a car
other
wash
or
business
sorry,
as
sorry,
well?
sorry,
Or
auto
auto?
business.
Okay,
That's what I
gotcha. I
meant.
was gonna
Yeah,
say,
yeah,
I was like, what?
yeah. They own an auto body shop. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I think Korean families who come from, not having much in their backgrounds, really like are fueled, like they have that hustle, like it's almost out of survival like necessity, and then you ride that momentum so hard and it eventually brings you to profit and comfort. um and then the other thing is you got to have a business. Like having a business is really what changes the game for a lot of families, like financial situations. And yeah, I mean, and honestly, like I think I'm sure when I first started the business, I was thinking about like other families who have business. I'm like, okay, it's the people who have businesses who are doing well, and it's the people who are still working their jobs who are struggling. At least like seeing other Korean parents, I think, and just see like
Hmm.
what they're up to. So yeah, they're definitely like motivators for us, for
Yeah.
sure.
It's interesting because I also like to think about like the psychology of how they grew up and their mindsets. I
Hmm.
think in general, whenever I go to Korea, there are so many small businesses out there,
Yeah,
like mom
yeah,
and pop shops, restaurants, like retail stores, those stands that sell random shit.
yeah,
And it's crazy, like I think in general, maybe that's where we get it from as well. Like South Koreans are just super entrepreneurial, or maybe like you know what I
that's
mean. I
true.
don't
That's true.
like very self-employer mindset
Yeah,
compared to the U.S., where a lot of people are kind of raised, or I think in the school systems, like they kind of tell you like, hey, get good grades, go get a corporate job.
Yeah.
It's so different in Korea, I feel like, and maybe that's why my parents, I like, they didn't even think about getting a job. They're all about like
Yeah.
business, like how can they make their business work. So
That's
it's
a really good point. Like, yeah, all those like grandmas who sit on the floor and like sell like their vegetables or their
exactly,
fish,
yeah.
right? Yeah. It's kind of
It's
like
crazy.
what can you bring to the table and how much can you sell it for?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's crazy how specific some of the crafts are. Because I remember when I was with my komo, which is my great aunt, dad's oldest sister in Korea. Me and her, I was in Korea pretty recently. Me and her just took the bus like really far away, and she had a bag of like sesame seeds that she had me carry. I was like,
Uh-huh.
"What is this bag of sesame seeds for?" And I don't really understand Korean that well, so I just did it
Uh-huh.
for her because she asked. And we took it to this lady in the shop that makes sesame seed oils. So
Oh my
like
gosh.
it's so interesting. Yeah, it's like this the weirdest things can make I think good money because obviously they're surviving,
Yeah.
and like apparently like that sesame seed oil is like the best you can get in Korea, and you have to bring your own sesame seeds. Yeah, I don't know. It's just so interesting. And she has her own shop. She's got her own thing, and she's got. I remember I saw her paper, and she has so many customers that she needs to call. And
Wow.
yeah, and like you said, like those old ladies are hustling. Like you see like
Yeah.
70, 80-year-olds hustling. I remember buying a suitcase from this 70-year-old grandma, and she was trying to haggle with me on price.
Yeah.
God, like, yeah, they're hustling out there. It's crazy.
Yeah. That I mean, that's interesting because my parents, I mean, they also grew up in Korea too, and they grew up in kind of the like more countryside. We're from Busan, and we're from Busan before Busan was cool. I feel like back then it was like seen as like the southern part of the country that speaks that funny dialect, and kids used
Yeah,
to make fun of me for speaking Saturi. Now it's
dude,
like everybody loves it,
can you
but
still speak Saturi? I
I s-
love it.
it is still my natural mother tongue, but I refuse to speak it because I got made fun of
Why?
when I was young. So
Come on, dude,
no, but if
do
I
it for
ever
the
call my
crowd.
parents, it comes out like automatically.
Do it
So
for the audience, man. They want to
may-
hear it.
maybe next time. Maybe if
Okay,
someone specifically asks, then maybe.
so
Yeah.
I guess a little background to the audience. I don't know if you guys know what we're talking about, but in Korean, I'm not good at Korean. I know there's like different dialects, and
Mhm.
what would you compare it to? I would say that the Busan dialect is it's like country, right? If you
Yeah,
were to
it's like a
compare it
southern
to
accent. I feel
yeah, a
like.
southern
Yeah,
accent, yeah.
yeah.
And I don't know why for me when I hear it, I absolutely love it.
Because that's like different and it's like funny.
I guess
But
it's
yeah,
yeah, it is it hits the ear different for sure because I think there's a
yeah,
character on Singles Inferno.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
We
yeah.
we all loved him. I forgot his name, but he spoke it like that was his dialect, and I was like, dude, I love this guy, just the way
I
he
think
talked. What
yeah.
was
So
it? Do you know?
growing
Okay.
up, like it wasn't seen as like professional or like it wasn't like the proper way to speak. So people that are
Oh,
from
okay.
Busan, if they're on TV, would try their best to like hide that.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And then I think just over time it just became more casual and more accepted and like it
Hmm.
was actually funny or like special to see that.
Yeah.
So I think the media has shifted more like attention towards it too. But
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Sorry to cut you off there, though.
no, 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 you're good. But where was this going? Yeah, yeah. Oh, I was gonna say, yeah, my parents for some reason, I guess, didn't choose that entrepreneurship route. Like
Yeah,
they
because
both were always like working. My dad worked at a company in Korea too. My mom was a nurse.
okay, yeah. I didn't know if
Um,
your dad did the small business ownership, but I know your mom. You said she was a nurse, right? So
yeah.
okay.
No, my dad would like worked like a company job in Korea.
Hmm.
I actually have no idea what my grandparents did because I was trying to see if they did something entrepreneurial, but
Hmm.
my grandpa on my mom's side and my grandma just went to the Buddhist temple every single day. And oh, actually, I think my mom's side just owned their building that they lived in, and they had tenants. They always had like some tenants, like I think paying rent. So maybe that was their income.
Oh, okay.
And these rooms were like you literally got a room, and like you had to go to like the back top rooftop to wash your face, like no bathroom. It was literally a single room, and like a whole family would live there. It was insane.
Dang, it's crazy.
And I also have no idea what my dad's side grandparents did. Like they just always sat at home. But
Hmm.
yeah, so
I know one thing about my grandparents on my mom's side. My grandma is a complete workhorse. Like she will never stop working. Like whenever we eat, she's doing the dishes. I mean, obviously she's making the food for us. She
yeah.
just can't sit still. And she's like constantly just working. She's retired now, but she's always doing like housework, making meals for my uncles, and she just can't stop working. My grandpa, I know one interesting thing is that he actually trickled down from North Korea to South Korea. I
Oh,
always thought that was super interesting. I was like, "How'd you do it?" He's like, "I just walked." And I was like, "Okay, I guess that's
yeah,
just like normal to them."
yeah.
And he's a very devout Christian. I think you know my grandpa already. My
Oh, it's that
dad's
grandpa, the one in the
yes,
choir. Okay,
yes,
okay.
yeah, yeah. He's an absolute physical phenomenon. I think when I like was lifting a lot and was super cocky about my strength, I was like, "Oh, you can't beat me in arm wrestling." He just demolished me, bro. Like
Oh,
that
really?
old man strength is no joke. Yeah, I think he
Wow,
used to be in special forces in Korea. That's how he kind of
wow.
explained it to me. And he did a lot of like Olympic stuff and like lifts. So yeah,
That's
he's
crazy.
yeah, it's crazy how like physically fit he is still at his age. And
Yeah,
my both my grandparents can take care of themselves, which is super like I'm very blessed
which
that
is
they're able to do
huge.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because on my dad's side, I never got to meet my grandpa. He died before I was born. And then my grandma, she had Alzheimer's at the very end and she had like dementia. So she was in a nursing home at the very end, but I don't know. I think she was also like very small business mindset as well because my whole family like
Yeah,
yeah, probably adopted it from somewhere.
I see.
I think she was into gardening or had her own shop. Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, I think grandparents or even parents being able to take care of themselves, both physically and financially, are there's such huge factors for how the children can actually go about living their lives too.
For
Because
sure.
like first of all, if they're physically like requiring a lot of help, and we have to actually be there and like, like spend weekends helping out, whatever. Like, not saying that like that's like from a perspective of like how much of our time and energy and money do our parents require from us, which I'm happy to do once again, but it's kind of like how does that impact the direction or the life that we are trying to create for ourselves, right? Like,
Hmm.
because it's we could always use more time and energy and money too, but um I think if our parents ask for that. This is sounding kind of bad, but it is something I think about. Like I have some friends whose parents are super well off, and like they've never needed to support their parents. They actually get supported by their parents. Like sometimes people talk about, oh, that family's rich and their parents bought that kid a house or a car or whatever. And
Yeah.
then there's the other end where their parents are struggling and the kid has to like spend so much of their paycheck sending to their parents.
Hmm.
And it's like, okay, how is the kid supposed to also save up and try to buy a house and grow their finances while trying to feed both themselves and their parents?
Yeah, for sure.
And
I
yeah.
I think I'm incredibly blessed because I feel like my parents now don't ask for much from me. I mean, I've loaned my
Hmm.
dad money here and there, but I don't have to
Hmm.
like take care of them. I
Hmm.
all the money that I make is kind of just going towards what I do, which is nice. But
Yeah.
I know, like you mentioned with my mom, like obviously my grandparents are like self-sufficient, but they want to do more for them in a
Yeah.
sense. It's not like they need it. My grandma gets mad whenever we buy her meals because she's like, I could have made
Yeah.
this at home. That's just how they
Right.
are. But I mean, my parents actually bought them a condo in Morton Grove for them, and
Yeah.
I would love to do that someday for my parents, but it's just like I
Yeah.
don't think I can right now, not in this
Yeah.
economy.
I
Which,
think
yeah,
I think when the children are doing well enough and want to, give back to their parents, that's a whole different story. And like,
yeah,
yeah,
for
we
sure.
all we would love to do that. I think it's where if the parents are in need and the children has no choice but to, that's
Yeah.
when things can definitely start to put a strain on like things.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And I can't imagine like what I would be like if I had to support my parents like that.
yeah,
Like, yeah, that's
yeah.
why I'm definitely blessed for sure.
And I think a lot of people around us are doing that, whether we know about it or not. Like it's just
Hmm.
it's almost like we're the generation that's young, that can work, that can keep up with the current technology and the trends, and our parents' skill set or their businesses are just getting older by the day.
Yep.
Um, it's I mean, our parents invested in us, and we give back to them in one way or another. So I
Yeah,
think
for sure.
it's that, yeah.
Because my mom was also like asking me the other day, like, what can we do? Because especially if like, their clothing store business is going out of business, it's not
Hmm.
profitable. And I'm like, I
Hmm.
don't know what you guys can do.
Yeah.
Maybe a Korean restaurant, or my mom always talks about opening up like a bang jeep, like, a pair of baguette and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
Yeah, but it's interesting because you're right. Like if they're not adapting, like their businesses are eventually just going to be run down. No one's going
yeah,
to spend money there, and
yeah.
yeah, kind of it sucks to think about, but hopefully, like it won't get to that point where yeah.
But the thing is, like, they also don't have that much more long term in their careers left that it's like, is it like worth adapting almost to, right? It's like their
That
retirement's coming up really soon.
Yeah, that's true, but for them, they don't have a dime in like a 401k. I would say
Mm,
like
I see, I see.
I would say their retirement was solely it's kind of like that car wash that they invested into that's not doing too well, and it's not going to sell as much as they bought it for. So it's like, it's kind of tough because yeah, like they don't have any retirement to look forward to. So do they have to keep working?
Yeah,
And I
yeah,
think they
yeah,
do, or it's like it might be on me to help support them. And I'm
yeah,
just like stressed thinking about that. I can't, like, I
yeah.
know like I make good money and I'm supporting myself, but there's just like my money is like, I don't know, it runs out quick, I think, because of
Yeah,
the things I'm doing. So I have
yeah.
to figure things out on my own too. Yeah, I don't know.
Hey, like your dad said, we will figure it out. No one knows
You're right,
tomorrow.
man. No one knows the future. I do my
No one knows
best.
the future. Yeah, I do my best. That's amazing.
Oh man.
Okay, last question for this episode is for both of us. What is your relationship like with your parents?
Um, you want me to go first? I can go first.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. I think growing up, I was always very annoyed of my mom, and I feel so
Mhm.
bad because she was just over loving, like
Yeah.
super clingy, over loving, and I didn't appreciate that. Like I needed my space, but also I think I was kind of like a gung pest sometimes. Like I smoked
Yeah.
weed growing up, and like I needed my space. Like she would like get on my ass about like smoking weed, and like and
She knew about it
yeah,
too.
she knew about it too, for sure.
Wow.
Maybe I wasn't the best kid out there, and I don't know. I think growing up, I wasn't as appreciative to my mom, and I was closer
Mhm.
to my dad. But
Mhm.
now I feel like that kind of flipped,
Yeah.
whereas I'm very like appreciative of my mom, and like I'm always there for her now, and I like it's so different now, like my dynamic with my mom, and then with my dad. I think he's always been kind of emotionally like absent. So maybe that makes me kind of think like, oh, it's fine. Like I don't need to talk to him. I don't need to keep up with him, and we're not as close, I would say, as we were growing up. But yeah, I'm definitely, I think, closer with my mom now.
Yeah.
And at this point, now that I'm like actually making money and doing better, like I'm just like trying to support them in whatever way.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. I think similar for me too, actually. Like, girl, I fought with my mom so much all throughout high school and throughout college too. Just like I hit puberty, and my mom was a pretty strict tiger mom. She would like we've done some like she's like broken my phone so many times because I'd be talking to like too many friends or girls late
Too
at
many
night,
girls.
and like yeah, and like I would like be super upset about that and like whatever. So and she was always like, you should study, you should practice piano, like whatever, like the typical things. My dad actually only has yelled at me once in his life, and it was that night was like the I thought the house was gonna fall apart. Like he was like screaming and like, he like pounded my door down. Like, I played Maple Story for like 9 hours that day, and I think my mom was just done with me, and she told my dad that I did that, and my dad's like, "Yeah, that's gotta change."
Mm,
Um, but yeah, so my mom was always like the more like disciplined one. My dad was always kind of like the calm, like chill one. And I think I just spent more time with my dad used to drive me to school, so maybe I just spent more time with my dad.
mhm,
But also, I think going to college, like leaving home and going to college and getting some separation from my parents was probably the best thing that was very necessary for me and my parents at least. And I think for most kids, like by the time you're 18, you need to get out of your house. Because I think once we had some separation and I don't see my mom every day and she just doesn't has she didn't have the chance to like nag at me about, you know, things every day, like our relationships just naturally got better. Um and then, I graduated, I got a job, like I got married to Christine, and then at some point, I think to my parents, they're like, okay, like our son has grown up, like they're no longer gonna like treat me like their kid.
mhm,
And yeah, now it's like now I like talking to my mom more too, more than my dad and more than before, more than I used to talk to her before. I think my dad's gotten a little bit like just he's like an old man now. His yeah, it feels like very much an old man. So I'm just like, all
yeah.
right. My mom's
It's
still a
funny,
little bit
yeah.
younger.
It's funny how that flips, like
Yeah,
going through all that struggle with your mom, like, and me too with my mom. I feel
yeah,
like it's weird. Like at the time, like you hate each other, but then
yeah,
later on, you just realize what it was all for. And I think, yeah,
right,
I think that kind of was a light bulb switch for me too. So
yeah,
now I'm just super appreciative of her now. So
yeah.
yeah.
I try to call them once per week. I haven't been too good about it, but they called me yesterday. So I talked to them for a little bit, but
Hmm.
yeah, it's good just seeing them like live their lives. I feel like they like entered like chapter 3 of their lives with this whole Korean association, and they're hanging out with people more than they ever did before. And
Hmm.
so yeah.
Good for them.
Yeah, it's I feel like there's so much more we could go into, but maybe there's a future episode for it. But yeah, I think we wrap it up there for today.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening, everyone, to Founders Unfiltered. If this helped, follow and subscribe and drop a comment with what you want next.
And if you want me to speak in Tatsuri, that has to be a comment. I'll think about it.
Yeah.
And you can find our podcast on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, or you can also find us on Instagram or TikTok at Founders Unfiltered Pod.
All right. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you on the next episode.
All right, see ya.